Hello world, this is Julian here with For Creators by Creators PC, a law firm that is focused on social media, influencers, content creators, but also startups and small businesses. And that's why we're here, because I want to talk to you guys about what filing an 83B election actually means. You've probably heard this in the startup world, or if you just founded a company or you're thinking of joining a startup, this term might have come across your desk and you're wondering, what does an 83B do or mean? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Let's get started. An 83B election is a form that you file with the IRS. It's the form 83B. And what it allows you to do is, on the day that you are granted restricted stock or common stock of a company that is subject to a vesting schedule, it allows you to declare the value of all of that equity on that day and only pay taxes on the fair market value that those shares are worth the day that you are granted them. That was a lot of words, so let's use an example. Let's say that I create a company and I call it For Creators by Creators. And let's say I give myself and my other co-founder restricted stock units in the company. And I put both of us on a 4-year vesting schedule. It doesn't really matter how the vesting schedule looks. What is more important is that there actually is one that exists. In this example, let's just say that it's the standard startup vesting schedule, which is 1/4 of the shares will be vested 1 year after the vesting commencement date. And then after that, 1/36 of the remaining shares will vest every single month. When you start a company, when I start this hypothetical For Creators by Creators company, the value of the shares is basically zero. You have something called a par value, which is in the charter or the certificate of incorporation of your company. And most often it's like 1/1000th of a penny. So it's very, very small. And so what an 83B election allows me to do is say, hey, look, I was granted 500,000 shares of For Creators by Creators. The value of the shares is 1/millionth of a cent. I'm gonna get the math wrong here, but let's just say that value is like $5. So what I just received, IRS, is $5, and that's all I need to pay taxes on. What that means is that, let's say my company is really successful over the next 4 years, so much so that after 4 years, when all of the equity has vested, let's say that the shares are worth $1 million. Now, because I filed an 83B, I don't have to pay $1 million of personal income tax on those restricted stock units that have been given to me over the course of 4 years. Instead, I already paid for the tax upfront with an 83B. And this is why the 83B is so crucial. Because when you're a startup company, the moment that you begin vesting, typically the company is not worth anything, or if it is worth something, it's worth very little. But as time goes on, the valuation will hopefully go up and up and up. And as the valuation goes up, so will the equity that's being vested in you. If you fail to file an 83B, then instead of paying all the tax up front on the value of the shares that you got them, you're gonna have to pay taxes on the value of the shares every single time they vest. And most often, that's gonna be a higher number. A couple of things to keep in mind here. First, 83Bs don't apply if you're getting a stock option grant. If all you're getting over the course of 4 years is the option to potentially buy the shares at a strike price that is determined by the company, but you're not actually going to own the shares, they're not actually automatically coming into your possession, then you don't have to worry about an 83B. And that's because technically you aren't acquiring anything. When you get an option, all you're getting is the option to purchase the shares. And the IRS is never gonna tax you on something that you have an option to purchase. They're gonna tax you on the eventual outcome when you decide to exercise that option and buy those shares. So if you're deciding to give people stock option grants or the founding team stock option grants, you don't need to worry about 83Bs. Second, you have 30 days from the date that the restricted stock grant or common stock grant is made to file an 83B. If you miss the 30-day window, it is a pain in the butt to fix, and you should absolutely look to a qualified attorney like myself, #ad, to help you resolve it and get cleaned up. It's not the end of the world, and there are ways to fix it, but you want to make sure you do it the right way. So in short, an 83B is a tax election that allows you, as the founder of a company who received restricted stock grants or common stock grants with a vesting schedule, to declare the valuation of all of those shares at the very beginning and pay taxes up front, rather than paying taxes on the value of the shares as you receive them pursuant to whatever vesting schedule you have set with the company. Remember that nothing in this video is legal advice, and I am not your attorney. If you would like to talk to me about what your startup needs and if I could be involved and help you, I'd love to chat. I offer free consults anytime. Reach out to the email down below. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, smash that sub button. I'll see you around.